Why would I want to go outside? Nature is boring, dirty, and gross.
Are you kidding me? I was outside all the time when I was a kid, especially in the garden.
No, out of all nature, plants are definitely the most boring. They don't even do anything.
What are you talking about? Plants are amazing, and they do so much for us. They can make their own food through photosynthesis, reduce carbon dioxide, produce oxygen that we need to breathe, and they're just as alive as humans. Let's go check some out.
Oh, Mom, you're so embarrassing.
Come on.
Let's start at the beginning. Scientists have been able to learn about the history of plants through the fossil record. Plants can form fossils after they die and are covered by other organic matter. We know that the earliest seeds appeared in the late Devonian period, known as Lachypteronopsis, and from that, we can study the evolution of seed plants. Seed plants begin as embryos, similarly to humans. Embryo is a term used to describe an unborn and developing organism. For plants, their embryos develop inside a seed, protected by the testa, or hard outer covering. Nutrients are packed around the embryo or stored in special seed leaves called cotyledons. The young root inside the seed is called the radicle, and the young shoot is called the plumule. These seeds can stay dormant until a good growing environment is present.
So, what do seeds need to grow?
That's a great question. Seeds require damp and warm environments to grow. They're also very patient and won't germinate until the time is right.
Ew, germination? What's that? That sounds disgusting.
Oh, germination is just the process of a sprout growing from a seed.
Oh, phew.
There are 4 main steps in the germination process. First, the seed absorbs water and the embryo starts to use its storage of food. Second, the radicle grows downward to orient itself with the soil. Next, the plumule grows upward to be ready to come out of the ground and grow into a stem and produce leaves. Lastly, the temporary cotyledons will fuel the plant until mature leaves develop.
Okay. And then, once the seed germinates like this one, it's considered an immature plant.
You mean they're annoying?
Oh no, it just means they're not fully developed yet.
Oh, okay.
A young plant will begin to develop a primary root and primary leaves. Its cotyledons will begin to dry up and shrivel.
So they lose their leaves just like we lose our baby teeth.
Yes, similar to that. And just like us, plants need a way to get nutrients. One way they do that is with a vascular system. A vascular system is like a plumbing system inside the plant.
This is the diagram of a vascular system. On the left we have a cross-section of a stem, and on the right is a length stem. The tubes that carry water from the roots of the plant to the entire plant are called xylem. And the pathways that carry nutrients and hormones throughout the entire plant are called phloem. Not all plants have this system, and it allows them to survive on dry land.
Hey, just like Daddy eats bigger portions than I do.
Right, and plants can get valuable nutrients in other ways too. They're called autotrophs, which means they can make their own energy.
Do I make my own energy?
No, humans are heterotrophs, which means they need to ingest other organic material in order to have energy, like bread, pasta, or potatoes. Plants, however, make their own energy, but they still need valuable nutrients in order to become a healthy, mature plant.
How do they do that?
Through photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a process in which water and solar energy are converted into carbohydrates and oxygen. Plants obtain water through their roots and get solar energy through their leaves.
Why can't humans do that?
Because humans lack chlorophyll, which is the pigment that makes plants green, and also allows photosynthesis to occur. And it is because of chlorophyll and photosynthesis that plants are vital to cleaning up our environment. Plants take in the carbon dioxide pollutant that humans emit into the environment and turn it into oxygen,
Which we need to breathe.
Right. See, plants are actually very cool and tremendously important. Eventually, immature seed plants become mature seed plants, just like me becoming an adult.
Do they grow up faster than you and I because they are simpler?
Actually, plants have a lot of complex parts that make up their structure.
What are these complex parts?
First, I'll walk you through the plant from the bottom to the top.
The bottom of a plant is made out of a system of roots that lay underneath the surface of the ground. The first root to form is the primary root, which many other roots will branch off of. Roots act to anchor the plant body into the soil while absorbing water and nutrients from the earth. These roots are connected to the plant stem, which contain the xylem and phloem, and provide stability to the plant as well. Next, petioles, a thin green structure, connect the stem of the plant to its leaves. Leaves can also be called blades and are used by the plant to absorb light from the sun needed to photosynthesize and create energy. Usually, the first leaves to emerge on a plant are formed from the cotyledons. In addition to these structures, if the plant is an angiosperm, it will contain a fruit, while a gymnosperm may contain a cone.
Let's take a look at the inside of a flower.
This is a diagram of the inside of a flower.
The male part is called the stamen, and the female part is called the pistil. The pollen has to travel down the style to get to the ovary to become a fruit, which will have seeds inside.
One way to differentiate seeded plants are between angiosperms and gymnosperms. Angiosperms are plants that produce flowers and fruits, and gymnosperms are plants that bear cones, inside of which there are naked seeds. Can you think of an example of each?
I think a hibiscus flower would be an angiosperm, and a pine tree would be a gymnosperm?
That's right. The main difference between angiosperms and gymnosperms are how they reproduce. This apple is a fruit, and it came from an angiosperm. The job of a fruit is to protect its seeds and to attract other organisms to eat it, in order to spread its seeds.
So, how would someone eating a fruit help disperse the seeds?
Well, let's say a deer goes into the forest by an apple tree and eats an apple. Deer aren't very picky, so it's probably going to eat the apple core too. Then, when the deer goes to the bathroom somewhere else in the woods, the seeds will be able to start growing.
So, what you're saying is seeds can travel through poop?
Yeah, Mother Nature entices organisms with the tastiness of fruit to help her out. Do you think that's gross?
That's awesome!
Alright then. Fruit come in different ways. Succulent fruit are fleshy, brightly colored, and often have a pleasant smell. Can you think of an example?
Like the apple we were just talking about?
Right. There are also dry fruits, like pea pods, that split and shoot out their seeds by force. There's another type of fruit called drupes. These fruits form a single ovary with a single pit and a single seed. Can you think of an example?
Like a plum?
Exactly. We eat parts of plants all the time, even if we don't realize it. These cones come from gymnosperms, and all these pointy parts are called strobili. In between them lie the ovaries that the pollen need to reach. Gymnosperms reproduce much slower than angiosperms. Their pollen takes 14 months to reach the ovary. Male and female cones look very different. Look at these cones and take a guess at which is the male and which is the female.
I'm gonna guess the larger cone is the male cone.
Actually, the larger cone is the female cone. Cones that look like this have ovaries and make seeds, whereas the male cones produce pollen.
Wow, there's so much information about plants that I didn't even know existed.
Now, after explaining how cool and diverse seed plants are, do you still think they're boring?
Are you kidding me? Seed plants are awesome. I wish I was a seed plant. They get to grow up faster, they're very colorful, and they don't have to go all the way to the grocery store just to get food.
Hey now, you'll have your chance to grow up someday. And we too are diverse. You and I aren't the same, are we?
Yeah, I guess you're right. Well, now that I'm an expert on seed plants, do you think we could go out to the garden and plant one together?
I thought you'd never ask. Let's go.